What's up, everybody? We're back for the last rounds of Girl Power previews. That's right. We've got 2 more of these videos. If you guys are seeing them, we have the actions and assets, action asset singular, followed by all of the foundations, and then the reprint cards that I want to talk about. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. We got a lot of them, so we're gonna get booking. Decay Awakened is an ultra rare asset that is a 7/4 2 mid block. It has Death Evil Void, first form, which means it has to be the first ability that you play on your turn. Remove, destroy all foundations and assets in all stages. Period. Build the top card of your deck face down. Your combat phase ends. This card is so interesting. I think this card is perfectly reasonable. A perfectly reasonable card. This card is a soft reprint, a reimagining of an old card called Self-Destruct, and there have been other versions of it, but Self-Destruct is the one that I'm most familiar with. That was a 6 difficulty 4-check. I believe it had a 2 mid block. I believe it did. And then it did this exact same thing: remove, destroy all foundations and assets in all stages, and build the top card of your deck face down. Your combat face ends. It did this already. And so I think that it's a cool inclusion if you build your deck around it, right? Like the Death Stage Destruction deck, like the Foundation Destruction deck that I'm looking to play, could see myself playing 1 or 2 copies of this to like fight 7-handers that are down to just sit down and build and do nothing, right? The issue with this card is what happens if it gets canceled, because we're putting a lot of eggs in this basket. In order to attempt to destroy all the stages. And right now, the card Showdown, which has the ability of let's cancel actions, is seeing a lot of play. I think that this card is fine. I think that it's going to be very cool to see what Decay Awakened decks look like, specifically under the death symbol, because they have ways to build their foundations back once they are destroyed. I'm excited for it. It's neat. We'll move on to the asset. The rare asset, Kaminari's Sharpshooting Gear. 3/5, 2 mid-block. Tech unique, as all chaos and good. Response commit: after you play a charge attack, you may change its zone. Add the top card of your deck to your momentum, period. So just free momentum grab. Followed by Deadlock Enhance. Destroy your charge attack. It's 5 speed and 3 damage. That Deadlock is very good. Very good at end of the game. Change the zone of your move. Grabbing a free momentum is probably right where we want this card to be in terms of, a 3/5 2 mid block. It's interesting that it is unique, so you can't I don't think that there's really a problem with this card being non-unique, if it was, but it's fine. Grabbing the momentum is pretty good. Would it be played in Mimic solely for Deadlock? I think it would get played in Mimic because it is play a charge attack, get the +2 damage from Mimic, and get a momentum, right? That's the main thing it does. But I think this card is fun. I think it's fun. Twisting can 0 for knows the charge? Yeah. I mean, you give 2 damage to Twisting, right? You give 4 damage to Twisting? So, this card all by its lonesome triggers Twisting? That's pretty cool. And you get a momentum. I think the big thing about this in Mimic is that it gives you a momentum for your trigger transformation to go build triggers. I mean, that's very good. Are there charge echo attacks under these symbols? Because that's where I think this card actually comes in. Air, chaos, good. I mean, we've got I know the charge echo. Velocity Rush. Velocity Rush is the only one under air and good. So this card and Velocity Rush is like a 2-card tactic that just says you get to play Velocity Rush twice. And you change the zone of the first one. I play Velocity Rush, I make it a low, I slam momentum, and then I echo it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Gives you snap momentum for Rando Gun. That's really interesting too. Yeah, there's definitely moves to be had with this card. Looks like you guys are into it as well. Up next, we've got America's #1 hero, a character I didn't think to see inside this set. I don't remember this character's name, truthfully, but like I think this is the last scene in the most recent season, and this is gonna be one of the big characters that is in the next season, season 7. Stars and Stripes, correct? Thank you so much. It's a 5/3 mid block with all good and order. Has the ally keyword. First enhance flip, discard 1 card. Your rival cannot block your attack with cards of the same type as the discarded card. Star and Stripe. It's a singular star and a singular stripe. Well, then why are there multiple stars on her costume? And why does her costume have multiple stripes on it? What a bad naming convention. Anywho. Your rival can't block with a card of the same type as the discarded card is very, very cool. Very, very cool. And then Pro Hero Enhance Flip. This attack loses 1 keyword trait and gains 1 keyword trait of your choice. Only playable if you're a Pro Hero. So, like, looking at my rival's Fury Attack Matters deck and saying, no, it doesn't have that. Or looking at their Punch Attack or Kick Attack deck and saying, hey, these don't matter is very neat. It being an enhance instead of a response is a little silly because they can just like they can use the ability on like my kick attack gets +1 speed or whatever first. But I think that this card is a really, really neat card. I like the 3/5. You can't block my move is very cool. I think the 3/5 is very cool. This ability combined with I know people are saying Anya with this card, but this card also shares a symbol with one of the cards that was in Tim Keefe's Endeavor list, Psychic Spirit Glass. So Psychic Spirit Glass says, look at your rival's hand, remove one of them, name it, they can't block with it. So you do that as the form, and then you catch the other card with America's #1 hero, right? 3-div slot's too competitive for this. I don't know, man. I think a 3-div slot that says like your kill condition can't be blocked is pretty good. It really just depends on how do you know what the card it is, right? That's the question. But we'll look. On to Binding Mr. Aizawa. It's a 2/5/3 low block. Has Todoroki 2 symbols, like we've talked about. Response flip. After one of your foundations is destroyed by a rival effect, commit 1 rival foundation. Pretty good. And then enhance flip. This deck gets -1 speed for each of its keywords. This bottom enhance, I think, is very strong. Flip for -X speed is very good on the 2-diff, right? And it also has the added bonus of if foundation destruction, commit 1 rival foundation. This is a very good catch-all that easily could exist in the main board at like a 2 of and the sideboard at like as a 3rd. Especially if you're missing speed hate. This card is very, very good. I don't know about under the water symbol because you have things like Fast Friendship that have that flip minus speed. But I think under fire and order, this card easily could see play as long as your 2/5/3 low block slots are open and available to you. We'll move on to Caught Misbehaving. 1/5/2 mid block has Bakugo 2 symbols, which I think is interesting. After rival builds a foundation during the combat phase, flip and commit it. Did you build a thing? No. Flip it and commit it. Not only can you not use its card text, you can't even use it to pass a check, which I think is very, very cool. I think it's very, very cool for a Death, Earth, Fire card. I think this is some pretty rad 1/5/2 mid block territory. I don't know how often this is going to be relevant. It really depends on like what does the next format look like. I know this card is like a hard counter to like what Momo 3 is doing, right? Momo 3 builds during the combat phase. It's her first form to do that. Nejire as well, Psycho. Yeah. I mean, there's two characters that are in the spotlight at this exact moment of like, hey, these are characters that want to build during the combat phase. Also, like Ryukyu agency trainees is like is a card pretty good counter to that. And that is like it's a flip, not like a commit flip or whatever. Does it work if I build one for them with the Momo after your rival builds a foundation during the combat phase? Yeah, it doesn't say during due to their ability, Yamato. Yeah, it certainly does. Or Yamato, sorry. It certainly does. If you build their card, it definitely does it. Yeah, I think this card is cool, and I think this card is an easy 2 of inclusion in pretty much every deck that you think that this is viable. I really like cards like this because this is a meta dependent card. If the meta calls for this card, it's great. It's very good. Move on to class Mate Support. 2/5 3 mid block Chaos Evil Life. Response commit. After you make a check, it gets +2 if your character is committed. At least this is a card that says like your check gets +2 and isn't a 4 check, right? Which is like pretty good. Under the life symbol, it's like it's pretty okay if your character like commits as a cost, like a Yusuke or like a Vexalian, not Vaxeldan, Vexalia. Like Jin could be okay with this, right? I think this card is going to see a lot more play after rotation. When we get some of these like really powerful life cards out of like set 2, set 3. Chaos Asui if it's not blocked. Yeah, like there's certainly Mr. Compressed Noises. Yeah, there's certainly ideas of like I can see this card existing. I think this is one of those post-rotation cards that is going to come back in favor, which is something I'm really excited about when we lose like all of set 2, set 3, right? Is look at like what are these cards that were not so great and they are pushed back to new heights. But I totally get it being meh right now. I get it. Condescending Explanation. I think this card's very cool. It's a 3/5 3 mid block. Evil, Void, Water. First enhance. Remove this. Spend a momentum. Flip this attack. This card says drop the current attack. It just there's no block step. There's no whatever. And there's no block step, there's no damage, there's no resolution. This card is just dropped. This card is very good because it says that like the combo keyword doesn't work. My big thing about it is a 3/5 3 mid block that I have to remove this foundation and spend a momentum. And I think it shares a really similar idea of Decoy Duplicate, right? Decoy Duplicate on Air Chaos or Void. So I don't know if this card is ever really seen on Void. Enhance, remove, discard 1 momentum. Discard this discard this rival attack for the card pool. Your rival may draw 1 card, right? On a 2/4 with a 2 mid block as opposed to a 3/5 3 mid block. It's a better version of Invincible Body. Agent Winners, I think it's a different version of Invincible Body because Invincible Body doesn't have to spend a momentum to make that ability happen, right? Spend a momentum to do it. But with that said, Invincible Body puts it to 0 and then not first enhance locked on decoy either. Correct. Yeah. Invisible Body says it doesn't spend the momentum, and it puts it to 0, and they could put damage back on the card. This says that they don't get to put the damage back on the card. So they're like different ideas, right? It's better than Decoy because progressive stays. It's like cards like this are neat because it's a deck building choice, right? Do you value the 3/5 3 mid block versus the 2/4 2 mid block under the void symbol, right? That's the question you have. Do you value the first enhance versus not the first enhance? Condescending Explanation doesn't let them redraw a card. Decoy Duplicate does. Condescending Explanation makes the card face down, this decoy duplicate says that it doesn't count as progressive. There's reasons to want to play both, right? Which is where I like cards like this. I think it's neat. Confronting the MLA. 1/5/2 high block with Death, Evil, Void. Response remove. After this foundation is destroyed, your rival spends 1 momentum. I think this card's super, super neat. I think this card's super, super neat. Of looking at anything with a destroy cost. This is just like, I'm already destroying a card. This is second best to destroying a committed face down. You can destroy this while it's committed, right? And so that's very good. And it's just like my rival spends momentum. I like the fact that these symbols have momentum hate. I think momentum hate needs to really, really exist in this game again, because decks like MHACCG, if left unchecked, will just rule the format because they just get to spend momentum, and not enough symbols can punish that momentum gathering. I think this card's cool. I think it's another neat 1/5 that like does a cool thing based on what does the metagame look like. Up next, we have Creative Strategist. 2/5/2 high block, Death, Void, Water. Response flip. After rival clears a card from their card pool during the combat phase, add the top card of their deck to their card pool face down. They made this card specifically to hate on my Asui deck. How lame. How lame that they made this card specifically to hate on my Asui deck. Rough. Rough. All in all, I mean, this is another like cool anti-meta card. I mean, this is really where I like cards being, right? I think that cards like this are really neat because they ask the deck builder to like answer a question, right? 2/5/2 high block. Those are fine stats for if my opponent is doing a thing. I'm going to be a folly for them. I'm going to be a disruptive piece. It's very cool. It's cool. I dig it. Now we're talking. Defiant Stance. 2/5/3 high block. Response Tenacious, which means playable while committed once per turn. After you commit this card to pay a cost, ready it. Period. Has air, good, and life. This card is so good in my Life Jester deck. Guys, this card is so good in my Life Jester deck. Oh. I just get a momentum every turn for free. Guys, I get a momentum for free every turn. I'm unstoppable. There's some turns where I'm not like committing that foundation is a cost. Like I stun myself twice every time that I do that across the turn cycle, right? I stun myself once on my turn and once on your turn. His card doesn't stay committed on either of those turns. This card is so good. I mean, this card alone says that I want to play Life Jester at St. Louis. This card alone says I want to play Life Jester, and we haven't even like there's other life cards in Girl Power that like really boosts that deck up. Yeah, I'm really excited. It also says that things like Cannon Blast or Net Launcher are very good. It's another target for I love the Bubble Girl. You're right, Ross. Bubble Girl gets to play this card. You get to play it. It's another target in Momo 3, right? She gets to build in Study Group Leader, or she gets to build in Defiant Stance. Both super good to like help her mitigate the costs. This is super good, super good. I'm very into this card. That one's pretty good. Disciplinary Action. A 1/5/2 mid block. Response flip. After a foundation leaves your stage due to a rival ability, build one foundation from your discard pile. Committed. Has the air, good, and life symbol. This card is very good. Another one of those. Hey, depending on where the what the metagame looks like, is Foundation Destruction very, very solid. Are things like Lost in Thought, right? Lost in Thought. I will add that card back to your hand. Okay, I'm going to flip Disciplinary action. I'm going to build in this cool committed card. A card that was better than the card that you gave me. Okay, we'll both build one face down. This card is super, super good. Can't remember the card from Guile's kit that did this. Yeah, that card saw a ton of play. I can go look, though. Because Guile in his Foundations was an Earth Good Order character. It was Pursuing a Vendetta. Yeah. Pursuing a Vendetta is back. The big thing about the difference between Pursuing and this card is Pursuing had a static that said this card can't leave your staging area due to your opponent's effects. This card does not say that. So this card can just be targeted to be gotten rid of, right? The only downside is it's not playable while committed. Agent Winners, it doesn't need to be playable while committed. It is okay as is, I promise. This card I think is very, very good. Again, it just depends on, are people destroying, removing, touching my foundations? That's the big question. Move on to the next one, to Disrespectful Banter. 3/5. I love all the 3 diffs in this set. 3/5, 3 mid-block. Chaos, Death, and Void. Enhance your attack. Destroy. Your rival destroys 1 face of foundation, period. This attack gets plus X damage. X equals the block modifier of the destroyed foundation. Your rival destroys 1 face-up foundation. This attack gets damage. So I destroy my 3 diff for you to destroy a face-up ready foundation, and my move hits harder. It doesn't say face-up ready card, so it can be a committed card. But if they only commit face-down cards, then this does say destroy ready cards. I think this card is really interesting. I think it having a not-so-great block modifier is a little rough, right? It's a 3 diff that destroys itself, right? It doesn't even say destroy a foundation. I bet that this would be really interesting if it said destroy, like if it was a unique that said destroy a foundation, not just destroy itself, right? The question is why there's better 3 diffs. Again, it really just depends on like what is your deck trying to do, right? Am I trying to trade you 1 for 1 and then get a bunch of stats? Another death to destroy foundation for my foundation structure deck? Maybe Winters, maybe. Like, I want that game plan to work, but I don't know if this card makes the cut because I think that, like, Bud Collector is just, like, a better idea of this, right? Spend a momentum to possibly destroy 1 or seal 2 problem cards. I don't know. There's something about this guy that I'm not 100% vibing with. But maybe there's an idea later on in the future, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not loving it. Let's talk about Exam Strategy. 3/5, 3 mid-block, enhance, destroy this. This attack gets 1 speed and 1 damage for each attack in your card pool, period. This card, as Chaos, Death, Life, this card is pretty good. It also has Deflect 2, so it's like a decent, like, it's a decent, like, defensive piece as well. The issue is I'm playing 3 diffs. And I have a card that wants me to have a really deep card pool, which 3 diff foundations like don't necessarily like help with, right? And also like the card, like it's obviously it's an Osby card, right? Like this card would be pretty good on like a really long string, right? I'll destroy for +4/+4, but it does mean that I had to have 4 attack cards in my foundation in my card pool, as well as I have to destroy this readied foundation. I think that this card would be super cool if it was just Tenacious. If this ability was Tenacious, I think this card would see real play. But the fact that it's not Tenacious means that I have to have 3-4 cards in my card pool, followed by destroying a readied foundation, is pretty rough. Chaos Mina wants to flip all of her cards. And so those aren't attack cards anymore. This gives like +2/+2 in Mina. Great one of in Momo. I don't disagree with that. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think this card is fine. At the same time, right, like destroy a card for +3/+3 is not a bad exchange rate, especially on the 3rd move. Ochako 4 Falling Skies. Again, it is destroying a ready foundation and it being a 3 diff in your Falling Skies deck. Right? Like I think that there's the difficulty and the abilities don't like mesh well with each other. They fight. They fight each other. Fighting for control. 2, 4, 3 high block, death, evil, order. Response, rival's turn. Flip after your rival makes a check to play a non-foundation card. That check gets -2. Failing that check will not end the combat phase. I think this card is messed up. I think this card is easily a 2 or a 3 of under these symbols. This card combined with under the death symbol, things like Keiko's Aid for like extra defense. Response flip for a random breaker 2, I think is super, super good. Is like just super, super good. Yeah, it's got a not great block. Yeah, it's got a 4 check. This card is such a Shigaraki card. And the fact that like the evil symbol already has so much breaker in it, the fact that you just have breaker on demand, I think that this is just Keiko's Aid for evil and order. That's how I feel about it, right? We all play Keiko's Aid, and it's a 2/5 3 high block. I get it, but like evil and order now has Keiko's Aid. I don't even have to block with this card. It just like does it, right? Shares a symbol for heal strike to unflip. True. I mean, so does Keiko's Aid on the death symbol, and I think Keiko's is still better than this. Keiko's being a 5 diff. You played your kill card, double fighting for. Yeah. I think this card's great. I think this card's super, super good, and is going to see a lot of play under evil and order. I think evil and order are incredible for this card. This card is super, super good. Finding Solace. 2/5 3 low block. Response flip after your rival plays a keyword ability ready to foundations and have not been ready this combat phase. All earth water. Another interesting 2/5 3 low block, I guess. This card's fine, right? Did you stun me? Already 2. Did you EX? Already 2. I like the fact that it just plays a keyword ability. This is normally like reserved for cards that say stun, right? After my rival plays a stun ability, I ready 2. And so I like the fact that this card doesn't say that. It also doesn't say play a ball committed. So like, let's pretend this is the only ready foundation that I have, and they do stun me, right? It gets. Oh, I guess they play it. So they play the stun. I flip Finding Solace. I ready my 2. Then I commit the Solace. That's perfect. Yeah, this card's great. This card's great. Yeah. Works when they deflect as well. Yeah. Re-ready ice lightings. Yeah. This card's great. This card's super, super good. Works with the deflect as well. As deflect is very cool. I'm really excited for deflect. Yeah, this card's cool. I'm excited to see what decks want to play it. Speaking of deflect, let's talk about Frozen Defense. 2/5 3 mid block. Its whole job is just deflect 3. Its whole job is deflect 3. I personally really like cards like this. I think this is such a neat sideboard piece. I think things like Frozen Defense existing in the sideboard is very cool. As a 2 of, just being like, hey, I know your attacks are going to get too fast. I will deflect 3, right? Imagine your rival does the math on a wolf, right? To get wolf to exactly lethal. It's the last attack that they can play. They spend all their momentum to put Wolf 8 to exactly lethal, including the response, and they use the rest of the momentum to powerful 3. Or to EX3. Alright, after the block step, I'll choose not to block. Obviously, I can't. Alright, I'll Frozen Defense for -3 damage. Okay, I'm at 3. It's still your combat phase. Still your turn, buddy. This is such a neat idea of like how deflect can be helpful. Yeah, I really, really dig it. I think it's very, very cool. Glare Distraction. 2/5 3 high block, Air, Good, Life, Enhance, Remove. If this attack speed is greater than its printed speed, it gets -4 speed. This card is bad. This card is remove the card for -4 speed and has a condition. It is essentially -3 speed, but I don't get to keep the resource, right? There's the Bebop card, the Fast Friendship is a 1/5 with a 3 high block that flips to give -3, and I get to keep the resource to play on later turns. This is such a panic button card that will see play in the pre-release and see play literally nowhere else. Literally nowhere else. Bummed about it. Grape Buckler. 1/5, 3 mid-block, enhance, flip. This deck cannot leave your rival's card pool during the combat phase. Your rival may spend 1 momentum to cancel this effect. I want to talk about anti-Toguro technology. This is it, right? This says that Toguro now has to keep momentum or build momentum. I built double Grape Butler, right? And my rival now has to slow down in order to play out their chains, right? Like, this is a Canary card, if I've ever seen one. Chaos, Earth, Evil, anti-Mirko 2 card. Yeah. There's a lot of characters that clear their own card pool, right? This card stops Asui. This card stops Toguro. This card stops Phantom Threat, like you guys said. This card stops things with like Manifest, right? You can't do that. There's an Ochako card that I think clears a zero gravity card into your momentum. Like there's a lot of cards that say, hey, clean your card pool, and Grape Buckler says no. They say no. Yeah. This card's neat. Storm of Arrows deck. Storm of Arrows, literally the deck that I'm trying to play next format. This card just beats, right? A 1/5 3 mid block just beats my deck. I have to spend a momentum. That's 5 extra damage that I don't get on my turn. Yeah, I think this card is great. I think this card's good. Another Canary card, but good enough. Heat Tolerance. 2/5 3 mid block, has all Earth Void. Enhance, flip. If this is your rival's 3rd or greater attack this turn, it gets -4 damage. This card's great. This card is a very, very good use of your 2/5 3 mid block slot. I think this is another really good defensive piece. I think that this is interesting defense. Hey, are you just slamming a bunch of moves over and over and over again? Let me give it -4 damage. I'm down. I wish, genuinely, I think this card would go from good to great if this was a 2 mid block. I think if it was a 2/5 2 mid block and then it did all of this, I think I'd be down. I think I'd be so down. Gonna love this in Genkai. Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, Genkai really wants it to be the 3 mid block, but like for everybody else in the world, we want it to be a 2 mid block. But I think this card is added the uncommon slot. I think this is a really good piece of defense that is very basic. It gets the job done. It's boring. This card's boring as sin, but, you know, it's okay to eat your fruits and veggies, right? It's okay to eat your fruits and veggies, and that's just what this card is. It's just fruits and veggies. Up next, we've got the Jam Session. 2/5 2 mid block. Chaos, Evil, Fire. Get the ally symbol. Enhance, spend 1 momentum. Your next check to play an attack gets +1 for each copy of Jam Session in your stage. I think this card's kind of bad. I think discard the momentum is a pretty bad cost. It's a pretty high cost. That's not even once per turn. You're not wrong, right? Chaos Jester gets to eat. You're not wrong. I just don't think it's great. Also, why is the enhanced keyword green? Paid. We all know that the quality control of this set is not great, right? We have cards that don't work, right? This is the least of my worries. Quality control, not incredible on Girl Power. Wish it was a little better. But at least this one doesn't need to be errated. Your next copy to play an attack gets +1 for each copy of Jam Session in your stage. Yeah, this card's just not. This card doesn't do it for me. This card's just not doing it for me. I think spin to momentum for me to hopefully find. I think actually the issue is that it's a 2-diff. I think if it was genuinely a 1-diff and it was easier to build, I think I'd be more in for it. This spin to momentum is already a pretty high cost in not chaos decks, right? I'd rather use my momentum for like an Echo or use my momentum for like an EX or something along those lines. I love Cool Student. This is not Cool Student. That's how I feel, right? Like if it was a 1-diff and I had to find 2 of them to discard my momentum for +2 to my check, I think I'd be down, right? But like, I'm just not here for it. With that said, if you have 4 of this card out and you have 3 momentum, you play any card you want, right? But the game must have gone on for so long for that to happen. I don't know. It's not worth my 2/5 2 mid block slot. There's better things I could be doing, I think. Ready for a rematch. 1/6. 3 low block. Air all order. Response tenacious. Playable committed. After this card is committed during the enhanced step, this attack gets +1 or -1 speed. This card's great. This card's great. It's a 1/6. It says after it's stunned, their move gets a little slower. This card's good. This is a copy of an old card, is it not? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? This isn't just a copy of an old card, right? Gotcha. It's just yeah. It's just gotcha. After this card is committed during the hand step, this attack gets +1 or -1 speed. On a 1/6 3 low block as opposed to a 0/5 2 low block, also has the order symbol. This is just gotcha. It's a 6 check gotcha. Yeah, this card's great. Yeah, there's not much we can say about this one. It's pretty good. Let's talk about this guy. Resistance Training, another ultra rare from the set. 3/5 2 mid block. All earth and good. Has class 1B breaker. So if your character has the 1B tag, you get to block with it and breaker 1 them. Response, rival's turn. Remove, spend 1 momentum. After rival plays an attack, if you have 0 cards in your hand, draw up to your character's printed hand size. This card is very, very cool. This card is very, very good. I am excited to see what this card looks like. I know a lot of people are talking about really aggressive decks running resistance training. I'm excited to see what the defensive decks get to do with this. Imagine my rival like having like 2 resistance training down. You just like you can't infinite attack them. They'll always have cards in their hand to block with, right? This card has 2 Momo symbols and doesn't Momo 3 symbols and doesn't have the unique keyword. I can just build this in with Momo 3, right? Like I can always have resistance training if I want it. Like every turn of the game, if I need a resistance training going into your turn, I'll just have it. This card is very, very strong. I like the fact that it is given the all and good symbol, like things to do. I think this card is very, very cool. I think this card is really cool. This is where I want 3 diffs to exist. This card's super rad for a 3 diff. Let's make more 3 diffs like this. Up next, we've got Sadistic Jeer, 2/5 2 low block with the taunt keyword. Chaos Evil Fire. Enhance, flip your rival checks against a 5. If they fail, add the top card of your deck to your momentum, period. It's pretty okay. Especially if you have any way to make them minus their check. And then enhance, destroy. If your rival has 8 or more foundations, this deck gets 2 speed and 2 damage. So I like cards like this way more than I like the Asui card that was like destroy for plus to your whatevers. I think this card making them make the check is very good to steal the momentum. And I think destroy for if they have 8 or more foundations, they get 2/2. This doesn't say if they have 8 or more ready foundations. It's just if they have 8 or more foundations. And so this card can accidentally spirit bomb your rival, like on turn 3, turn 4. Like you have two of these made, and you just like destroy 2 of them for +4/+4, and then you just like shoot him in the face with a big jeer. I like this card a lot. I think this card is super, super cool. Under the chaos and evil symbols, If they have 8 foundations, it instantly turns on your Rando Spirit Gun, which is pretty good. More cards for my hate fish. Yeah, man. It does give speed first, and so the speed will get +4, and then the damage will get +2. So it'll be a 5 low for 9, which on a 4 diff is not bad. 5 low for 9 4 diff, pretty okay exchange rate. Looks like you guys are kind of all over the place on this one. I think that at least for an uncommon, if you are looking for more speed and damage, I think this card is a 2/5 low block, has a place that it can exist inside your deck. I like this one. I like this one quite a bit. The yuckiest card in the set. I think this is really disgusting. Secret Family Technique. This is one of my least favorite cards, and I think every time that you play this card against me, I'm gonna rip it up and flip it over. It's a shame this card commits and doesn't flip. Secret Family Technique, 1/5/3 mid block, air, all, order, enhance, commit. Your kick attack gets 2 speed if it deals damage. Draw a card. This card is fine. This card is exact. It's a shame that I have to call this card fine because it has to conditional draw. This is exactly what we should be doing, right? I thought you meant what he was doing. Yeah, this is disgusting. This is yucky. Yes, yeah, it's really gross. The idea of taking the engines out of your yuck. It freaks me out when people like pull IVs out of them. I can't do it. Imagine taking a pipe this thick out of your fucking leg. Ugh. Either 3 can use it twice a turn. You're right. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I think that this is what draw should look like on cards. If you want to draw cards, you should commit the foundation to do it. Flipping is not the way to go. Flipping is not the way to go. We know Tam's gross out trigger. There's plenty of them. I'm sure you can figure them all out. Seeking Entry. 3 super sad fellas, huh? God, he looks so funny in a regular suit and with his superhero costume peeking underneath. So funny. 2/5/3 mid block with the ally keyword chaos, order, water, response, commit. After your rival plays a non-character ability that adds any number of cards to their hand, seal 1 rival foundation and draw 1 card. Now we're talking. Did you add a card to your hand? That one doesn't work. I will draw a bonus resource. This card's great. This card's great. Okay, Endeavor has drip. This is so basic. What do you mean, Uncle Tony? This is not drip. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? He emits an aura in that code. No. Agree to disagree. I think this card is good. I think this card is going to be a 2 of in a lot of decks. With that said, I'm not positive, like, under the order symbol. Would we rather play this, or would we rather play, Q from Street Fighter 3 looking ass is very funny. Okay. Would we rather, under order, would we rather play this, or would we rather play Can't Escape Me, right? My answer is I'd rather play Can't Escape Me. Busted Deadlock ability combined with cancel the thing that they're doing. Although, like, remove might be not as strong as commit to be useful over and over again. It's a there's something to this card. Again, another deck building choice, which is what I really like about it. We got a couple more. We got like 5 more, and then we're done. Size Specialist, 1/5/3 mid block. Life, Void, Water, Response. Add this card to your hand, period. After you block with a foundation that's not named Size Specialist, build it, period. This card, I think, is really, 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 really cool in life decks. I think that this card kind of goes crazy in Life Momo. I think this card kind of goes crazy in Life Momo 3. I will build this in to then block with a sick card and then pick up Size Specialist, build in the card, block with Size Specialist, goes to my discard pile, commit a foundation, re-ready that foundation because it's city group leader, build in Size Specialist. You've got your blocks again. Very cool engine happening here. I dig it a lot. Very similar to what's that Kirishima 1 card? What was his foundation? Manly something. Manly passionate guy. Keiko's Aid and Overhaul. Oh, yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, gives me manly passionate guy vibes. What's worse than build Keiko's Aid? The hand Keiko's Aid. Yeah. I think that's super neat. I think this card is super cool. We'll move on to Split Body Control. 2/5, 3 low block, all death earth. Response flip after your attack is blocked. Flip 1 rival foundation. After my attack is blocked, I flip 1 to selectively flip one of yours. This has the earth symbol. This should have some sort of deadlock 1 difficulty, or desperation 1 difficulty, or deadlock breaker 2, or something along like this. This should do something a little more than it does. But it's probably fine as is. It's fine. Deflect 2? Yeah, deflect 2. Yeah, I think this card should do something this much more. Like this much more. It's just so proactive. Yeah, I'm not into it. Teacher's Guidance. 2/5, 3 low block, air chaos, earth. Respond or enhance flip after you've taken damage this turn. Add the top card of your deck to your momentum, period. This card's great. Hey, I took a lick on the chin. I'm going to flip 3 of these and just slam 3 momentum. Very good. Very, very solid. It's got a 3 low block. So I think this card is going to get cut a lot, but I think that I do like its ability. If you have the health total to sustain this, if you're like a Byakko or something along those lines, and you want to use momentum, I think this card has got a good choice, right? This card shares all 3 symbols with Armor of the Wolf. Right? Am I crazy? All 3 symbols with Armor of the Wolf? What's Armor of the Wolf's last symbol? No, it's air chaos earth, right? Yeah. And so like I'm playing an Armor of the Wolf deck, I build 2 Teacher's Guidance. That's plus 6 stats on a move because I took damage, right? Which is like pretty decent. That's a okay thing to have happen. It's a bad hacker extraordinaire, different symbols though. I don't think it's bad, I just think it's different, right? Like this flips for a once per turn ability, whereas hacker is like commit. I'm allowed to block the moves afterwards though, right? And it does also ask my opponent to play a second attack, right? It does ask my opponent to play a second attack, which I guess is like an interesting way to look at it. I really like this card design space wise. I'm interested to know how many copies get played, but I think this card is neat. I like it. I like it. I'm not sure it finds room in much decks, but I think it's cool. Up next, we have Time for Rest. Almost. The video's 50 minutes long. 2/5, 3 low block response. Flip, name a keyword. After your rival's combat phase begins, attack with the name keyword gets -2 speed for the turn, period. This could be the best attack in the game, or best foundation in the set. This could be the best foundation in the set. This card's crazy. Response flip. If your opponent is playing a keyword dependent deck, it just gets minus stats, right? Like in the Toguro deck, like you just like pick weapon or range or charge, and like what do you think they're playing? You like mess with it, mess with Toga 3. Yeah. Like there's -2 speed on my Fury package. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, this card's great. This card's super good, guys. Rip weapon tribal. I don't know if it's rip, right? Like it's just a piece you have to play around, right? For the same idea of like Keiko's Aid is tough to play around. This is just like a different version of like what Keiko's Aid is doing. The real question is how easy is this to recur? And under the water symbol, you can just play Falling Heel Strike. Falling Heel Strike, I'll unflip Time for Rest. Right? Mess with ally decks? Yeah. I mean, I think that cards like this should exist. It's again, it's another canary card that tells you when keywords are too strong. And it says like if you can find a shared keyword in a deck that is not playing speed pumps, you just get to block moves for all time now. Right? Like, you just get to block things forever and ever and ever. Forever and ever and ever. This is such a sick 2 of main board, 2 of sideboard, right? Rip Mirio. Rip Mirio because it's a low block, right? Am I right, gamers? Up top. All right. Man, Order Endeavor didn't need this. You're right. But Order Endeavor was also playing a bunch of weapons. Am I right? If you add the keyword America, it still gets speed drop? Correct. Yeah. Attacks with the name keyword. It also is like, are you playing a stun package, right? I can pick stun or echo or powerful, right? Like, I'm allowed to do that. Imagine Mount Lady 3 with this, right? She wants to give powerful to all of her moves. You just flip Time for Rest and say, your character doesn't work anymore. You want to give powerful to everything? Well, now you can't. Yeah, this card's incredible. This card is going to be the chase rare. Easy peasy. And then lastly, Wall of Steel. 1/5, 2 mid block, Earth Order Void. For some reason I don't associate this little spiral with the Void symbol. I just don't do it. Earth Order Void. After you block a throw attack with this card, that attack deals no damage. This card's great. Doesn't say you have to perfect block it. Just says, hey, this is just throw hate on 3 more symbols. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Every single symbol should have access to some amount of throw hate in the game. It should be everywhere. This is now, I mean, this is now 5 symbols that have on block throw hate. Not to mention we've got Order has 8 throw hate cards now. Yeah. Ban misplay. Every symbol should have a Genkai's Guidance. That's crazy. Every symbol already almost has Genkai's Guidance. What are you talking about? That card has 5 symbols. Yeah, this card's cool. This card's neat. Chat! Do you like the back page? Singular action, singular asset, and then foundations, right? I think that these are some of the back page cards absolutely 100% saved this set. This set I thought was dead on arrival until these back page cards happen. I like individual cards not necessarily as kits coming together, and you get to find the strategy. Is there an idea where we get rid of character kits? Is that an idea? That we get rid of characters with kits and like design a whole set of just back page cards? Interesting. Something to explore. What if character kits were now just the 4-card kits and then it just regular Heroes Clash? Yeah. What if every set was like a good Heroes Clash? Interesting. But YouTube, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the foundations and the singular action and asset from the back page of UniVersus Girl Power. All right, I'm ending the video. We'll see you later.